So first off, thank you everyone for coming. I appreciate it. Super excited to go over some stuff with you guys today. So in the email that we sent out about a half hour ago, you should have received a web success scorecard. And basically what that scorecard is going to do is it's going to be our tool that we're going to be using to help guide us through for today. So if you haven't gotten it today, I'm going to add it to the handouts section here. You should see it underneath handout. It should be right next to the chat up top. If you click that, you can then download it or open it up in your browser. Either way, it's a PDF. The nice thing about it is something you can use to, or like basically for me, I use it once a quarter to figure out if we're on the right path on what we need to do. So we're going to dive into that today. As we go through everything, if you have questions, feel free to drop it in the chat. If I see it, I'll probably look at it right then. If we have time, if it's a good fit for what we're talking about. Otherwise, we'll go over everything at the end as well. Really excited to go over it with you and looking forward to hopping on in. So we're going to go ahead and get things started. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen. All right, so you guys should all be seeing that web success scorecard here. And like I said, if you haven't gotten this yet, you can get it from the handout link in next to the chat. That is going to give you the link for it. If you don't see that, please just let me know and I'll make sure I drop it in the chat as well. But like I said, it should be underneath that handout section. And I'll toggle it one more time just to make sure you guys got it. So we're good to go there. All right, so this is a tool that I've been working on for a while now. Basically, when I'm working with any of our clients, we have a bunch of different pathways that we can work with their clients, but it's really hard to get a overall picture of where the business is at. So we developed a tool that helps them really kind of figure out and explain where they're at, that all makes sense to them, and so they can say, yes, I'm doing this, or no, I'm not doing that. So this tool here is going to be like the ultimate way to figure out if you are being your website platform, your funnels, your marketing and all that is working for you and not against you. And it helps identify those areas that could be improved and how to get that to the next level. So we're going to scroll down. The first kind of stuff that we talk about, like I said, we break it up into 3 sections here. The first one is empowering your business. And the kind of things that we talk about with empowering your business is first off a strategy. We go into tracking like analytics, and we go into the sales process as well. So those 3 things help empower your business to make educated decisions. You know exactly what's going on with it. You know exactly what kind of things you need to move forward. So for instance, if you're looking at your analytics and you have a ton of traffic on your website, but no one's purchasing anything, you can start diving in and figuring out exactly why they're not purchasing stuff if you know that. Or it could be the complete opposite, and you're getting a few sales, but hardly anyone's going to it. So you're thinking, okay, well, how do we get more traffic to the website? And it helps identify those areas that you can improve it. The strategy side of things, with strategy, I'm going to go over a full-on way to plan per quarter. I'm using this tool as well as figuring out what you guys need to do for it as well. And one of the things too, so I'm just moving some windows around so I can make sure I see chat just in case someone has a question. And for those of you who just joined in, if you don't see the success scorecard in there, feel free to drop a message in the chat. Otherwise, it should be in the handout section up top. But yeah, as far as empowering your business, focusing on a strategy is really going to help you develop an idea of where you need to go. I'm sure you guys have all, if you're in business, I'm sure this has happened to you, where you get a ton of ideas and you're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this. And next thing you know, you're like, oh crap, I didn't get anything done and my business isn't moving forward. So coming with a strategy and plan that, okay, I'm going to do these first, focus on those, get those done, and then focus on those new ideas. It really helps round things out and make sure that you're actually moving forward. We're going to go over that kind of stuff there. The sales process is key as well. If you do any kind of service-based business or selling products online or anything, having a clear sales process is going to be a key thing that you need to hammer out. And the main reason for it is, one, if let's say a client comes to you and they have a question about a certain product you sell or a service, how do you handle talking to them, then getting them to easily either check out or book a call with you? So coming up with a clear sales process is something that we are going to go over as well, and some tips with that. So section 2 is converting your traffic. We're going to be talking about your website. We build websites that convert. That's our specialty and what we really focus in on. And the funnels go hand in hand with that. Your website is basically your overall thing. Think of it as your storefront, where when people walk in, they have access to everything, but you help and guide them to the different areas that you want them to focus on more. The sales funnel is, let's say they are looking at a specific product or lead magnet. What that's going to do is it's going to allow you to guide that experience for that specific product. And then lead generation. So lead generation is obviously, if you can have everything going on for you, a beautiful website, a bunch of awesome funnels that convert really high, but if you're not generating leads as far as bringing new people to those and actually capturing those leads, it's going to be really hard to make any sales. So that's definitely a key thing you got to focus on there. The last section is amplifying your platform. So after we've empowered the business, converting your traffic, the next thing that you want to do is to focus on stuff like support. So how are you going to support the platform? Let's say you have a huge sale and you get 30,000 visitors all coming to your website at once. Can your website handle that? And better yet, can they handle the checkout experience? You can have a really nice cache website that runs really fast, but as soon as people start like purchasing or logging in, what it can do is start slowing down your website because it requires more resources. When that happens, can your website handle that? And so doing like a stress test on it, making sure that you have proper support in place is really a key thing with that. The next topic is one of my favorites. It's automation. And I absolutely love automation. If I didn't have automation, there's a ton of things in my business that would not be happening because one, I'd get too busy, or two, just wouldn't have the resources to handle it all. So we handle a lot of like automations, and basically my motto is if it can be automated and automated well, meaning like we're not losing out with any of the client experiences or losing out on anything, then we're going to automate it. Content creation is our last one. So creating content, so graphics and blog articles, social media posts, that kind of stuff to help bring traffic and really make your entire platform work. So we're going to dive into all of these here. Like I said, we're going to use a scorecard just kind of figure out exactly what we can do to help improve it. And I'm going to give you some tips and tricks for each one of these categories as well. Like I said, if you guys have any questions though, feel free to drop it in the chat and I'll make sure we get those questions answered for you. And just want to double check to make sure everyone has that handout. So if you guys don't, please let me know. Like I said, you can get it directly from the email we sent, or if you click the handout section, you can grab it from there. So, all right, moving on down. So I used to be a teacher. Just a little bit of backstory here. I used to be a high school teacher. I taught a mobile electronics class. So in mobile electronics, you do everything from car audio to remote starts to anything that's electronic on a car to even home audio and electronics there. So that's what we focused on and what I used to teach. One of the things that we did a lot though was using rubrics. And the reason why we used rubrics was it was an easy way for students, or at this part, business owners, to identify exactly where they're at and what they can do to improve. Now, this is more like a self-assessment with it. So be completely honest as you fill this kind of stuff out with it. I can come across here and say, yeah, I'd have a 10 in this, 10 in that, and 10 in that, and I'd be lying to myself. If there's not going to be a single business that has a 10 in everything, because that's just the way the business goes. There's always always areas you can do to improve, and it's just about growing further with it. So the way this works is, one, like I said, we have the 3 columns here, the 3 categories. We have strategy, tracking, and sales process. What we're going to do is judge ourselves based on like where we're at in the business. And if you haven't started something, it's totally fine. Like, don't hesitate, don't worry, it's okay. There's solutions out there for it. You don't have to worry about that part. And what you're going to do is read through this and be like, okay, for instance, if you're of level 10 or you're close to this and you're doing this really well in strategy, you know exactly what steps need to be or needs to be taken to move your platform in the right direction. You can measure and evaluate your progress, and you audit and update on a monthly or quarterly basis. So this here is a very distinctive thing that if you're doing it, you can give yourself a high score on it. If you do that 1 month, but then maybe not the next month or the next quarter or anything like that, then obviously you're not at a 10 yet, but you're up there where places you can improve. So let's say right now you do yearly planning and track your progress and on what needs improvement. So this is a good one to be at if you haven't really done anything. I'm sure everyone's made a New Year's resolution. The main difference between most New Year's resolutions and this one is, one, you're tracking your progress, not just forgetting about it a couple weeks after. So if you are basically like setting up and I'm going to show you a couple quick ways to like do the tracking or whatever on the next part. But if you're doing that, give yourself a 5 or give yourself a 4, whatever you think you are. When you go through the next part with tracking, you're going to, based on this, give yourself whatever it is. So this is just an example. Like if you have a 5 in strategy, tracking has a 2, and then sales process as an 8. Give yourself an average score. And the reason why we do this is give ourselves an average score is this is going to help us identify which main part of this needs to be worked on before moving on. So like the whole idea behind this is if you have, like, for instance, a 5 in empower your business, a 2 in converting your traffic, and a 10 in amplifying your platform, you'll be able to identify and say, okay, I need to focus more on my website and funnels right now and lead generation before I start focusing on bringing on more support and automations or creating content here, because I'm doing really well here, but we're not converting any traffic. That's how we're going to use this tool to identify that. And then when we get into converting your traffic, if you break it down into here and you say, okay, well, everything else is pretty good, but then when we look at the one that has a 2, obviously this one needs more work here. What can we do to improve that? So that's the whole idea behind this and what we're working with. So let's dive on in. We're going to go into the empower your business part of it. And like I said, as we go through this, just kind of judge yourself on it. No one's going to see this but you. This is a tool directly for you. You can share it with your team. You can share it with me if you have questions on it and you want to know a little bit more. That's totally fine. The main idea behind this is just to make it so, one, you can make a plan and move forward with your business and give it an idea of what it needs to be. So talked a little bit about the strategy. Level 10, we basically are measuring ourselves on a monthly and quarterly basis, and we know exactly what needs to be worked. If you are doing yearly planning, that's great. At minimum, what you should be doing is, like, 1, you have a goal for it. Like, this is not New Year's resolution. You have a goal, but you don't have a way to track them or track progress or assess them. Now, the main thing between like a goal and strategy is having that way to track it and then also assess your like achievements with it. If you are going through and saying, hey, I'm in my business, I want to make $10,000 a month. Great. How are you going to do it? And, well, I'm just going to do it. I mean, that's an awesome goal, but there's not really a strategy behind it. So the whole idea with this part is to really come up with a plan and figure that out. So I'm going to share a quick tool and way that you can use strategy here. Now, let's see, we'll switch over to this. So this tool is called whimsical.com. This is just basically you can do mind maps, you can do flow charts, wireframes, all sorts of fun stuff. It's free. They do have a paid plan, but you can use it for free. So what I generally start with is a mind map. And the reason why I start with a mind map is what it does is it starts put everything out there on what I need to do for it, and then kind of break it down further and further. Then what I can do is break it up into different months on when I'm going to do this stuff. So for the strategy, I did this on another call before, but I'm just going to walk you guys through a couple of examples. So for instance, if we're talking about website strategy, 1, let's say we need to audit the website the month, figure out what's working, what's not working. So we're going to add that there. Another idea is adding a chatbot to it. Another idea could be an application contact form. For funnels, we need to audit our landing pages, set up a product for purchase, set up automation and nurture sequences. Lead gen, we need to audit our leads and do SEO for our website. Support, we can do automation for support and schedule for checking in, things like that. So these are just some ideas that you can do. Once you have these ideas and you're actually like going through and figuring out like what you want to do, this is the part where it comes in really handy to break it up into quarterly. What I generally do is I'll have kind of a catch-all. I'll put everything over in the other column here. And then once I have it over here, I can start breaking it up and figuring out exactly what I want to do first. So month 1, it probably would make sense to like audit our ecosystem, make sure that everything's working. So we're going to go through, do a website audit, funnel audit, and make sure everything's working properly that way. It's also going to make sense to make sure that we can capture basic leads. So like with a application form through a contact form. After that, let's say we want to focus on our funnel automation because we know like we have sales coming through that and it's a lot of manual process to be able to send out all those emails coming out as they go. So we're going to hope to do those in month 1. Then month 2, what we're going to do is we're going to work on set up a chatbot. So if you want to set up a chatbot in month 2, we're going to add that. And then let's say we also want to start our SEO or social media campaign. So that's going to be a good goal for month 2. And we're also going to focus on that nurture sequence there too. So what I'm doing here is I'm breaking up some goals that I had ideas over here. And I'm saying I'm going to do this in month 1. I'm going to do this in month 2, month 3. After we've done these here and we have our plan, you can go through and check them off. Or what you can do in this one is we can just switch to like green and then change it. So like this is done. This is done. You can add information in here to drop it in. Now, this is just a quick tool. There's other tools out there. This is just a quick, easy thing you can do though with this one. The benefits of doing this though is I can come back each quarter and be like, okay, I know that we did our audits during this. We did this during it. We found this. Maybe we didn't get to these other things, but that's okay because they weren't necessarily on the plan. However, my other column here, if I were to hammer all these things out first, and then I have those other new ideas, I can bring them back over and I know exactly what I need to work on without having to go down the rabbit holes to the next new shiny object. So this really just helps you map that kind of stuff out. So as far as strategy goes, I highly recommend doing something like this. The reason why we want to break it down to the month is monthly is a lot more, or is a lot easier to say, okay, I need to get this done this month. And then one, like let's say if you have 4 things in here, you could do 1 a week for that. And then after 4 weeks, you have the 4 tasks done, move on to month 2. And then what I'm doing for quarterly is I'm just assessing it and then coming up with the next plan. So that's my goals here. And the reason why I prefer to do it monthly and quarterly is yearly goals are great, but they tend to be pretty large. It's, for instance, I want to double the revenue of my business. That's a huge goal. And what this is doing is it's going to take this and really help you break it down on the steps to get to that big yearly goal and make it to where these are a lot more achievable and they're faster. I'm sure anyone who's had a quick win versus a long win generally likes the quick wins because the one, as you're getting through the quick wins, the more and more that add up, the better off it is, and you end up getting that long-term goal. That's why we break it up that way. Back over here, what we're going to talk about a little bit is tracking. Or actually, before that, if you haven't given yourself a score for strategy, like I said, don't worry about the score. If you don't do any planning, it's okay to put a 0 there. If you do some kind of planning, give yourself a nice score and just be truthful to yourself because this is going to help you identify what you. All right, so tracking. So this one here, this can go pretty in depth with tracking. You can go down a huge rabbit hole with tracking, but there's some basics that you want to get set up just so you kind of know like exactly what is happening in your business and where you can make it. Level 10, you have a dashboard set up to track everything that happens in your business, such as traffic, leads, clients, projects, and goals. All information is readily available and easy to find. So this, if you have this, that is awesome. I'm still working on this to make it better for my business. And like, it seems like anytime I get a new thing added, it's like, oh, hey, I could track this and I could figure out a little bit more on how this is working. So I'm still working on this, and this is probably going to be something I will always work on because being able to figure out exactly how people are interacting with things helps make me and make my websites and all that work a little bit better to give a better experience for all clients, potential visitors, everything. The mid tier is you have Google Analytics or a similar program installed, and you know where your traffic is coming from. Ads can easily be tracked and show which ones are working. So if you're running ads and you don't know which ones are working, that's definitely something that you want to focus on, getting something like that set up there. If you have leads coming in, knowing where they come from is an awesome key thing to have, because let's say you have a new lead comes in and you're like, wow, that was a really nice person to work with, and you get a few more like that, and you're like, where are these ones coming from? Maybe you think they're referral, maybe they're coming from a campaign you ran, and it's targeting that kind of actual visitor, and you want more of those. The best thing to do is, if you know where they're coming from, so you amplify that section. If it's from Facebook ads and it's a specific ad it's running, boost up the ad spend on that one because you know that one's bringing in the type of leads that you want versus the type of leads that like are get hit or miss here. So having that kind of information is going to be key. Level 3 for this, or the lower tier is you have Google Analytics or a similar program installed on your website. So at least the benefits of this, if you don't have anything installed on your website yet, get this part done, because you can start tracking information that you can then start putting into proper reports later on. But at least start tracking some of the stuff. Now, one of the things that we do is we'll look into this real quick. So we have Onvert. This is one of our systems that we use for our business. We created a lot of this and then set up a lot of things for it. But Onvert is one, like if you can come in here and check out your different campaigns for Google ads, your Facebook ads, the attribution reporting. If you have leads coming in here, they'll show up like what the event type was, where it came from, who their email is, the campaign, all the UTM links that are attached to it really help kind of show you exactly what's there, what kind of revenue brought in, how many total leads it has, all that. It talks about call reporting, agent reporting if you have people on your team. It has a whole bunch of stuff here. And then appointment reportings are like, for instance, how many booked calls are you having a month, where are they coming from, how many canceled, how many no-showed, all that kind of stuff, and data can be found here. So this is what we use quite a bit. This is on our demo account, so it doesn't have all the data in here. But if you ever want to like get a demo or whatever, let me know and I can walk you through it on our account, kind of show you how that looks. Yeah, that's Onvert. That has a ton of different analytics there to help kind of give you an idea of what's working. So that's tracking. And like I said, if you don't have Google Analytics or something installed to track the data or visitors coming to your website, at least get something like that installed. And if you're in Europe or the UK and you have like something that's GDPR specific, let me know. I have a couple cool ways to track stuff that is allowed. So let me know if you need any of that kind of info. As far as the sales process goes, so the sales process I absolutely love. The reason for it is it makes my life easier when we are collecting new leads. When we have stuff like this come through, what it allows us to do is really kind of like figure out like where do the leads come from? Have we talked to them yet? Have they booked a call with us? If they booked a call, do we have any set up a follow-up sequence to follow up with them? Or when should I call them to follow up with them via phone, get on another Zoom call, whatever. This helps us narrow that kind of stuff down. And Carl, just before I dive in, so can you put the PDF for Success Scorecard? Yes, I will drop that in the chat again. So if you just go to beherce.com/scorecard, there's that link for that one. And then that tool that I used for the flowchart stuff, that is Whimsical. I typed that wrong, sorry. HTTPS. There we go. WH. So that one will go there. So yeah, you're welcome there. And then, like I said, they have a free account, so it allows you to hop in and do that. All right, so back to the sales process part. So looking at like the top of the line, what a good sales process would look like is you have a sales process or a system that can keep track of all your leads in stages that are relevant to your sales process. Each stage is fully automated to keep leads engaged. Your team can easily jump in as needed, and everyone is on the same page. So if you're doing this, then your sales team can hop in there and pick up a lead from any which way, know what the kind of conversations they've already had with, and there's notes in there and all that. Makes your life a whole lot easier because then you're not like repeating yourself to leads and making them feel like you guys don't know what you're talking about. So there's that definitely helps. Mid-tier is use a CRM to organize customer details and leads. You follow up with potential leads from time to time. I used to be really bad about following up with leads. And one of the ways that I would do it is I'd send out a proposal, and next few days go by. I'm like, oh, hey, I haven't heard it back. Maybe I should follow up with them again. So I'd follow up and say, hey, do you have any questions about the proposal? And most of the time, like we'd get a nope, I'm good, or no thanks, I don't have any questions. And for me, it's like, okay. My thought process was like, hopefully I get more information on if they were ready to get started or not. But they just know they don't have questions, and you send them a couple times, and next thing you know, they're just not going to say anything. A better way to do this is having like a nurture sequence that follows up with them and gives value based on like what you sent out. So, and I'll dive into a little bit of the nurture sequences and stuff like that once we get to that part of it. But having something that's going to help kind of bring them back there and actually follow up with them like in a good way is a great thing to have for that sales process. And so this is where we were. So you message new leads as they come in, and you don't really have a system to keep them organized. We've gone through and we've totally revamped our sales process and made it to where anytime we have a new lead that comes through, if we talk to them about a specific area of our business, we have a sales sequence or follow-up sequence that follows up with them specifically for that product. Like for instance, like let's say if you sell like insurance and you talk to them about car insurance versus home insurance. If you're trying to get them on car insurance, but you send them a bunch of stuff about home insurance, they may not be interested. Like that's not what they wanted. But if you were to send them emails directly dedicated to that car insurance quote that you gave them, that's definitely going to help with that as well. That's one way you can do for the different sequences. So when we're talking about the sales process, we're going to go back over to Onvert for this and show. So one of the things in here, we have a sales pipeline. And the nice thing about the sales pipeline is as you can make it to where as new leads come through, they come in here. And Like, let's say you talk to them and we say they're interested in XYZ product. So they're interested, great, we move them over. This can be done either automated or manually. So like, let's say they reach out to you through a form and they said they signed up and they're interested in this. So we move them over automatically, or you talk to them on the phone and you're like, hey, oh yeah, they're interested in this. Let's talk to them, move them over manually. So I like that. I said here, moved them over manually. Then the cool thing about this is we have a booked appointment part. So what we do with this column is we make it so, let's say they book a call for like a demo. We have a couple different calendars set up. So like if they booked a demo for Onvert, what it does is it will automatically move them over here. So I can see how many demos we have. And then at that point, if they either no show or they reschedule or cancel or whatever, we can follow up with them and know like they were supposed to have their call on this date. If they no showed, they'd be put into a no show column. We can set off an email sequence for that. If we talk to them after the call and they're like, hey, it sounds great, I'm just not interested this time, great, no problem. We'll just move over to not interested right now and just say that way we can help keep our pipeline clear and we know how many people have booked an appointment and how many people are actually interested. And this makes life a whole lot easier to identify exactly like where your leads are coming from. If you get to this part and let's say you have 100 people in the not interested column and only one in interested, it helps you identify like, okay, why aren't these people interested? You can start looking into figuring out exactly what's going on with it. And it gives you an idea of, okay, all these leads came from like a Facebook ad that talked about this. When we got them on the call, maybe they didn't really cover what they were really wanting. So that helps identify like that kind of stuff too. And then let's say if you talk to them on the call and they booked their appointment and next thing you know, they're interested. So when they purchase automatically, it's going to move them over to the sold column and helps identify how many leads you have that actually came through and were sold through. So this gives you a quick, easy way to identify this, keep track of all your leads, easily follow up with them. The nice thing about this kind of stuff is, let's say you click into this, I can click on the contact details, pull that up directly. I can see what the opportunity value is, look at what stage you're in, if they have a specific tag or if they came from somewhere. So let's say that came from Google, it would show Google here or things like that. If you're talking to them on the phone or a Zoom call, you can come in here and add notes, and the notes column just makes it so like it allows you to come back to it. I don't know about you guys, but I have a huge catalog of notes and Apple Notes, and what happens is like when I'm trying to find stuff, I'm searching, and the next thing you know, if I'm on a call, it's like, who is this one for, or was it for this one or this one? The nice thing about this is if you're working on like a specific sale or lead, you can put your notes in there and then you know exactly where it is because you can look it up by that contact. So that's a really nice thing to have there. The next nice thing too is if let's say you were to come in here and you need to identify, I need to call these guys in a week, you can put up here, add a task to it, assign it to someone on your team and what date you're supposed to call them with. And this will pop it in the task column to have you manually follow up with it. So this is a great thing to help keep track of what you need to do or what a team member needs to do. Like for instance, if you have a VA, you can have them come in here and add someone in here and then allow them to dive into or basically be connected with it too. You can assign it to anyone there. But yeah, that's the sales pipeline stuff. We're going to go back to the web success scorecard here. And let's see. So yeah, give yourself a score on the sales process side of things. Like I said, be truthful with yourself. Don't stress about things if you aren't sure like where you're at. It's okay. Just score yourself. No one else is going to see these. Once you have your 3 scores here, you can grab or add them all up and divide them by 3, and that's going to give you your average score. So like for instance, if it was 5, 5, and 5, your average score is going to be a 5. So that's just go ahead and get that part done there. Now, the next part, we're going to dive into converting your traffic. Converting traffic, this area, there's a lot that can go into it, and that's okay because they're pretty big. Like all 3 sections are pretty big. With converting your traffic, the way we do this is by creating a solid platform with conversion funnels and a cohesive user experience for your potential clients and customers. So that basically, like I said, goes into your funnels, your websites, any kind of lead generation that comes in, whether from SEO, ads, organic social media, anything like that, anything that brings in leads to it, and having a way to apply that. We're going to talk about the website first. Now, this part here, level 10 is 1, you're proud of your website. It brings in consistent leads and sales. Every page is set up for conversions. You can track where your visitors have interacted. Your website has demonstrates your business as an authority in the space and has a good user experience. So this here UX, that just stands for user experience. I'm sure you guys have all been to a website where you get to the website and you're like, this website sucks. I don't know what to do. This is not fun. And you click out, or it's really slow, all sorts of things. It's just anything that basically makes it to where you're like, I'm not interested. And you click out. That's not a good user experience. So making sure that you have a good user experience to keep them there is obviously important. Mid tier would be you have a website and brings in leads every once in a while. The user experience works, but could be improved. The lower tier is you have a website and it does not bring in leads. And level 0 or 1 would be you don't have anything, you haven't started yet. And like I said, it's okay if you don't have anything, you just know where you can work on next. As far as this goes for websites, so we have a couple different things I want to show you, like examples that you can do to help increase your user experience. So I'm going to go and show you my website. So this here, like I said, we sell websites. We have marketing services. We have the onward system. There's a lot of things that go into it. When they get here, there's a couple key things that really help stand out and get people to basically move forward for a conversion. Our main call to action or main headline is your website really doing its job? So meaning, is it bringing in conversions? We have a little bit of information about it, and if they're interested in talking to us right away, we make it really easy for them to book a call. As we scroll down, we're going to have other stuff talking about our systems. So like for instance, we have our signature system, and this might look familiar to you guys, but it's empowering business, converting traffic, and amplifying your platform. But this goes into the different things with it. We're in here today. We have our website care plans. This is technical support for people. And then we have a call to action for a freebie. I don't know if you guys have seen this one yet, but we have our website optimization like checklist. Basically it's 3 lead magnets we put into one. This is one of our highest converting lead magnets. The reason for it is it helps identify 3 main things that people can do for their websites and breaks it down for them. And a lot of people have loved this one. So if you haven't gotten that, feel free to grab that. It basically just, like I said, it's 3 PDFs you can get and then helps you walk through on things you can do to, one, increase your website performance, conversions, and then it has a whole checklist you can go through as well. The other thing that we have on the website, like if you're coming through here, if someone's looking for like web design and they're scrolling through, this kind of stuff will help ground their attention. So it's a very clear call to action. We design websites that convert traffic into qualified leads. Learn more. So this is going to take them to that as well. Then we have that the onvert one, and what you're going to notice here is the homepage is just dedicated to taking them to a different page on the website or booking a call. And a couple things that you'll see as you scroll through. One, we have our book a call section here at the top. But then one of my favorite things is this new video lead widget that we just introduced in Onvert. Basically what it does is it's like video, it's like a chat widget. And you'll see me start popping up and talking. And what it can do is I'm introducing to what BS Media does. And then they can, if they're interested and want to just go hold of us real quick, we make it super simple and they can text us directly here. This goes into our CRM. They'll get a text message directly back to their phone number or an email, and we'll send out information here. Now, let's say if they don't want to text us, but they just want to learn more, the really cool thing about this is they can click learn more, and then it's videos of me talking about our different services. So they can go through and say, okay, I'm really interested in technical support. So let's say they click that, then I have a video about technical support. And if they want to learn more, even more after that, they can click this, which takes them directly to it, or they can click book a call to book a call directly here without having to, like, let's say, go through the actual book a call form. This is just a quick, easy way to help identify and showcase what we can do. And this thing is crazy awesome for converting more traffic on our website, because when people come here, like I said, it's a quick, easy chat widget they can dive into and identify exactly what they want to look into and then get on a call with us. That is probably our top converting section right now. So that's one way. And there's a bunch of other things you can do on websites to make sure like things are like standing out. For instance, if you have a blog, so on your blog, one of the things that you can do is you can have like a floating sidebar that has some kind of call to action here. So like us introducing Onvert. At the bottom, we have that lead magnet here again. Just things like that that's going to help really identify or get people to sign up for things or purchase. The whole idea behind having a lead magnet makes it so, one, they can go through and sign up for an email list. So then, for instance, later on, they can get more information about it, or they get a freebie with it. Basically, I'm sure you guys have all signed up for a freebie at some point where you get some kind of value based on information and in exchange for the email address. So the way that it works good for businesses is it allows the business to market to them later on through email. So for instance, we had our masterclass today. We sent out an email to everyone for the masterclass, stuff like that. So it helps bring them back into it, because I know we have a ton of people on our email list, but I know not everyone's ready to purchase stuff. Like a lot of the stuff we do, it doesn't make sense for them until they're ready to move forward with it in their business. What we don't want to have happen is have someone go to our website and then be like, "This is great, I love it, I'm just not ready yet," and then leave and completely forget about it. So what we do is we have different ways to provide value. They can continue coming back. So if they're working on their own website, or they are just like they plan on doing it later on, they're consistently getting value from us. So that way, when they're ready for it, they remember us. That's the whole idea behind it. So I don't like spamming people. I want to give out value to people, because ultimately, if I'm doing good with that, they're going to want to use me to build their website or use one of our services for it, because they're like, hey, he obviously knows his stuff. He's done this. I'd love to see what he can do for for the paid stuff too. So that's the whole idea behind it. And you can do that with any industry. We had a rabbit cage company that basically setting up an email list for them. We were able to identify exactly what, for instance, if they had like a promotion coming up or whatever, but giving some like ways on taking care of the rabbits helped identify their customers so they can sign up for that. So when they needed their next stuff, they had their email list, and you're providing different information with it there. That's just a little example. If you ever have a question or anything like that, and like what kind of lead magnet works, let me know. I love coming with lead magnet ideas. We do have one service. It's called Lead Magnet in a Box, where it basically creates a whole lead magnet for you, sets up the email automations and all that, and basically makes it so you don't have to do anything. So yeah, that's one thing there. But I love strategy. I love coming up with ideas. Happy to help with that kind of stuff. So just reach out. But all right, let's go back to the scorecard. So that's the website setup here. Like I said, if you have stuff and you're not bringing in leads, doing some of those things like adding that chatbot or a lead magnet to your website is going to help with that as well. Because as I said before, not everyone's going to be ready to purchase your stuff right away. Sometimes they need to see your stuff 5 to 7 times before they're even ready. And that's okay. It's just the way it is. All right. Funnels. So we talked a little bit about funnels and leads and all that, and lead magnets. So we're going to dive into this a little bit. So we have a level 10 would be you have a complete funnel setup that are continuously tested, have automated emails, follow up, landing pages, and generate quality leads and sales. Each step of the funnel is tracked and makes sense with your business goals. So this here is, if you're doing all that's awesome. The main thing though is this is hard to reach. What I'd love to see everyone do is at least have one landing page for potential clients or customers to opt in and sign up for a mailing list. If the reason for it is, I can't stress this enough, if you guys are doing like social media stuff, think about it this way. If you have a huge audience on social media, but then let's say your account gets banned or they shut down or something like that, you lose that audience. But if you're building your email list, you can then market to them wherever it is. If your email platform for some reason shuts down, you still have your email list, and you can take that to wherever you want, and you have that audience that are still dedicated to seeing stuff from you. Building that building that email list is huge with that kind of stuff. Mid-tier is you have lead magnets that consistently generate new leads. Start here. I'd love to see everyone here, and it would be amazing to see everyone up here. If you guys have any questions with that, let me know. But I'm going to dive into a couple funnel strategies for you guys to just get you guys started. We're going to go back to the website. So talk to you guys about this bundle here. We're going to open this up. And this one here is like I said, it's basically 3 lead magnets in one. You get a conversion checklist, website accelerator, and 6 steps to website success. So these 3 things, basically what we want them to do is to get these and download them. What we're going to do with this is we're going to put my info in here. We're going to say info.com and click send me my free guide. What this is going to do is take me to a thank you page. Now, difference about this thank you page is, one, it has a low ticket offer on it. And you don't have to have a low ticket offer. I just want to show you guys an example of one where that can help generate money for those freebies. So let's say if you're running ads to it, this helps make up a little bit of that ad revenue there. But what this does is it's an offer saying supercharge your website with a proven process that it's the website conversion turbo pack. What you're going to get is a personalized audit and two courses here. What it's doing is it's basically people get an automated audit from us, and then two website courses. One is on leads and sales, and then the other one is the first one's on conversions, the other one's on basically make your website faster. And then it breaks down to what they're going to get. And then what it's doing is we sell those all separate, generally for $450 altogether. And what we're doing is we're selling at a super low price for $37. What this does is it helps break in like that whole, oh my gosh, I'm getting a deal. Because like ultimately, if you bought these three things separate, it would cost you more. But we bundled it down, made it to where it's a really good offer that makes sense for us because for one, we can automate this stuff. It took me a long time to build the courses out, but right now it's not taking more time for me to I do this kind of stuff. So we did a lot of upfront work that we can sell for a cheaper price. So it's not like a bunch of stuff that I have to do for stuff coming in, which makes sense to us. What they do here is they fill out their information, they can sign up and pay for it. Now, the cool thing about this is people who purchase this, they love the audit, it helps them out. And then they have the trainings that help with the audit. We have another section that goes into it though. And I'm not going to fill out my paperwork real quick on it or fill out the payment details. So I'm going to pull up the next page. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right, so this next page here this is called an upsell. So what it is basically if they purchase that, we offer them one more thing. And then that one more thing is for us, we're offering a strategy call. So the cool thing about this one is what we did is we took what they purchased on the last part, and then we're increasing the value to it to include a personalized video audit. So we're going to take that audit, plus personally go through the website and double check it all. And then what we do after that is we provide a 30-minute strategy call about the audit and their website. So this one here, this is a little bit more. So it's $97 versus $37. But what it does is it adds that on and allows them to either add it on directly with it or just stick with their initial one here. The nice thing about this kind of stuff, let's say if you implemented this in your business, what the cool thing about this is for us, it has taken it to where people who purchase this generally want to buy more for us, because when we get on that 30-minute strategy call, I show them a bunch of stuff that they can do to improve their website. And they're just like, oh, cool. That's great. Can you do it for me? And most people ask that. So it's like, yeah, no problem. Let's go and get you for that. But the cool thing about it is it gives them a pathway. It gives them that strategy and gives them an idea of what they can do to improve it. So that's one thing that works really well for us. If you're like, let's say, for instance, in a if you're like a social media manager, or do some other kind of like service-based business that provides this, do some kind of consulting call or strategy call, definitely helps with that kind of stuff. So that's something I'd highly recommend to people. That's one nice way with it. And one thing I wanted to show you guys too is as you go through these three things, you're going to notice a pattern. So we have a freebie here that talks about conversions, website success. So that's one theme there. Then we get to this next one, and then you'll notice we have a course that builds on top of what we had just talked about and what they already identified that they want help on, and that's what we're selling here. And then even further is this one identifies even more into that complete audit, more of a strategy from a professional. So when you take your funnels and have your freebie to your upsells and your offers and all that and work them all together, when you combine those three things there and it has like a typical like path that makes sense to each part of the client's pathway, it increases your conversions like crazy, because once they've already identified what they want help with and you give them more and more help, it makes sense for them to want to do that. So that's one way to help increase your conversions. I've seen people go through and add in, for instance, they have a freebie about one thing and then they have another service in their business that just doesn't make sense or like really connect together, and they try to add that to the back end of it and it just doesn't make sense. People don't purchase it and they're like, well, why isn't anyone purchasing? No one identified that they like that there. You might get a couple stragglers who purchase it, but if they're not really identifying what they like here by signing up for that one, and then you have the next one there, it just doesn't make sense. So that those kind of things you really want to be cautious of and aware of. That's the funnel side of things. If you guys have questions with any of that kind of stuff, let me know. The nice thing is too, like with Onvert, all that stuff was built out in Onvert. just want to show you guys that real quick. So this is that template. What we have here is we have our website optimization bundle. We're running a split test between two different styles here, which is super key. If you are ever running any kind of traffic to a funnel or anything like that, if you think like you want like one of these is going to work better than another, what you can do is open it up and we're going to look at this style here. So like right now we're testing to see which funnel layout looks or works better for conversion. So we have this here, and this is just a single column layout. But then we also have this version here where it's single column here, but then breaks down for this side by side. And right now, this style is working better for people. People like this more. We're getting more conversions there. So this helped us identify which layout works better. And we do a lot of testing. Like we've gone through and tested the headline, we've tested the sub headline here, we've tested out the copy for this. And basically what we've done is we've gone through and figured out exactly like what's working the best, and then taking those elements and then creating that and then doing another split test to see what's working better between those. So really cool way to figure out what's working and how to identify that stuff there. Because for me, data doesn't lie. So like I'm looking here, 19% opt-in rate versus an 11% opt-in rate there. I will take a 19% opt-in rate all day over 11% because it's obviously a higher number. And you can do all sorts of split tests in there to figure out what you want to do. Super cool way to do it. Makes it really easy to identify what's working. All right. Now we're going to talk about lead generation. So with lead generation, this gets broken down into a top line or top tier would look more like your website has a complete search engine optimization strategy. You are ranking well and you get a lot of traffic from search engines. You use ads or Google marketing to bring in new leads and have a system to collect those leads. This here is key, having a system to collect those leads. So if you're sending those leads to a CRM or just writing them down on paper or whatever, some way to collect it is super key. Mid-tier is you create some content based around keywords in your niche and have a basic plan to bring it to new leads. So basically if that's your mid-tier, needs a little bit of work. Low tier would be longer day here. You know what keywords you applied to your website. So what kind of keywords do you need to use for your website on the content? For instance, if you're doing web design, are you using web design in your copy, or making sure you're using those proper keywords so the search engines know to look you up and optimize there? So what we're going to do with this, I'm just going to show you a quick little overview on like ways you can do to improve it based off of one of the services we provide. So we have our search engine optimization. The things that really help with this kind of stuff is one, making sure you're doing your research, figuring out exactly like what kind of industry you're trying to target and what kind of keywords are working. For anyone with local business, I highly recommend making sure that you guys are getting reviews on Google. There's getting reviews there. The nice thing about it is one, you can still put them on your website, but having a review on Google is going to be a much more sticky review because people trust Google reviews more than just random text on your website. One of the things that we have is if you look at our website, we have a bunch of reviews here. And if you click on, we have the little Google logo here and showing that it came from Google itself. If you were to click on it, it takes them directly to that review to verify that's right and that it's real. So having something like that is going to be a key thing to really make sure that it stands out and show that you're legit. So that's something that definitely helps there. Make sure you optimize your Google business profile. So like one, I don't know if you guys knew this, but you can do our actual on your Google business profile. So like, let's say if you have like a value post or a new blog article or stuff like that, you can add those kind of stuff to your Google business profile as a post. So when people see you there, they can see what you've been up to as well. And then content creation. So I recommend doing at least one blog article a month on your website. If you're not good at writing blogs, you can use something like ChatGPT. However, I don't recommend it too much because like, obviously, unless you take the time, if you just go in there and ask ChatGPT like, hey, write me a blog article on this, you're going to get stuff. It's going to give you something. However, it doesn't mean it's good content. What I recommend doing, have ChatGPT write you an outline of a blog post, and then you fill in the rest of the information with knowledge based on that you have. And then what you can do is ask it to go through and optimize it for a specific keyword. And what it can do is help identify or change some of the content around to make sure it incorporates those keywords too. So that's a good way to do it versus just saying, hey, write me a blog post. But this here, it's a good thing to do. If you can do 2 a month, great. If you can do 1 a week, even better. The next thing you can do for SEO is one, have or go through and get local business citations done. So meaning like you're adding your website to different business listings. That helps with your ranking as like domain ranking authority, and helps like people find it if they're looking in the business directory. It helps them find it on that. So it's our Yelp and things like that. And then basically what we do is we focus on, or like what you can do is focus on different parts of your website to make sure that it's, if you're a local business in Spokane, Washington, like us, we have different pages that are built out for the Spokane area. I work with clients all around the world though, so you aren't going to see a whole lot of local stuff on this site, but we do want to still show up in local results. So if someone types in Spokane or web design in Spokane, we want to show up there. We have different pages that help identify that we are in Spokane, we're a local business to it, things like that. This is a very high level overview of SEO. There's a lot that goes into it, but these are some easy things that you can do to help identify it and get ready for, or do SEO for your own website. All right, so that's the convert your traffic section. Like I said, we talked about our website, our funnels, and lead generation. Make sure you've scored yourself on all three of them, and once you have, divide it by 3 and give yourself your score there. All right, so last section. Our last section is amplifying your platform. We're going to do this by creating content, nurturing your potential clients, and automating your process and optimizing your platform. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's okay. We're going to start with the support side of things. Top tier of this is you have a maintenance schedule to keep everything up to date, secure, backed up, off-site, and accessible. You have a team of professionals that can handle requests such as content changes, so you can stay focused on your business. So this one here, I know we offer support. I'm not saying that you have to get support right now, but at some point you're going to get in your business where support makes sense. We offer support to different clients who have websites, funnels, and all that. Like we have a bunch of different tiers for it, depending on what people need. The main reason why we suggest it is when it gets to a certain point of your business, you're going to be super focused on everything else in the business, and the last thing you're going to think about is backing up your website or making sure that things are secure. We get most of our new clients that come to us for like website support end up coming to us because they were hacked on some other platform, or they don't know what to do with stuff. So it really sucks. Like I don't know how many of you guys know Rachel Peterson, but I worked with her for a number of years, and she came to us one time when she was doing a live training. Her team said, "Hey, the website's hacked," and when I say hacked, like really bad hacked. So people are going to the website, and what was happening is they were directing them to some spam sites that were asking for credentials and people to log in and all that, which is not good, especially with how much traffic she gets to her website. So what she did is we were already managing her website, which was totally fine. The website was fine. However, what happened is she had some old websites on her server she didn't tell us about, we didn't know about, or anything like that. And it gave a backdoor access to her main site. So what we had to do is go through her entire website and make sure everything was like cleaned up. We spent around 8 hours that day just cleaning everything up, because when your website gets hacked, it takes a long time to fix it. There's a lot of things out there that will say, "Hey, we'll clean up your website in 30 minutes," or blah, blah, blah. You can remove the script really easy and get it back to just showing on the front end really easy and fast, which we did. We got her website up super fast. But what was happening is there's scripts scattered all throughout her server. She was on HostGator at the time, and what happened with HostGator is HostGator flagged it and took the entire website server down, said, "Hey, if you don't get this fixed in X amount of time, when we approve it, you're not going to get your stuff back," because they don't want their service messed up. So that was one thing that we had to focus on to get that done. And like I said, it was a completely different website that was on there. It was just something that they spun up a long time ago, but they didn't update the plugins for it. So it was on with WordPress, and this can happen with any platform. But they basically, just like your computer, if you don't update your website, it can get hacked. That was one of the things that we had to focus on and get up for. The nice thing about it, though, is we had everything backed up, so there's no issues there. We could get everything back up. It was looking great in 30 minutes. Got everything back up, no problem there. Clean up the rest of it. That big mess still took quite a bit of time. Highly recommend having some kind of backup solution. If you guys don't have, let's say you guys have a website with a WordPress or whatever, a good tool that you can get if you aren't ready to hire a team is to use something like Blog Vault. You can have them like scan the files for you every day, and then it's a pretty cheap monthly price there. But that's a quick, easy way to do it. There's a lot of other things you can do with it too. But like with us, we provide support plans that if let's say you have new content you want to add to your website or something else like that, you would send it to the team and we get it handled for you. The nice thing about that as a business owner is you're not spending 2 hours updating your website. You're not spending weeks on weeks trying to get a website up and running. Basically, the whole idea is to give you back more time. Sorry for the little rant. I just want to reiterate, make sure you have something to back up it, because stuff will happen. It's just a matter of time. Mid-tier, you update your software and content at least once a month. You have offsite backups of your website. And so like this, the offsite backups, Blog Vault would do that for you if you are looking for a cheaper option with that. You update software and content when you think about it, and you have backups of your website with your hosting. So in a lot of instances where, let's say you have backups with your hosting, let's say your hosting provider goes down or the hacked files go down. If you only have your own one backup with your hosting, that might be helpful, but at the same time, most hosts only keep it for 2 weeks. So let's say the hack was a month prior, but didn't become active until now, you wouldn't have a clean version of the website. So having one, if you wanted to, if you don't want to pay for anything, at minimum, you can go into your host and just download a backup. Do that like once a month or once a quarter, whatever, just to make sure you have a clean backup in case something happens, because you don't want to lose that content, especially if you work so hard on it. That's the support side of things. The next thing is nurturing and automation. So this is, like I said, I love automation. I'm going to dive into some cool things with this. Top tier is your website, funnels, email, and anything that can be automated is automated and checked on a regular basis. You have advanced email automation to nurture your audience. The checked on a regular basis is a key thing. The reason why I say that is, one, a lot of people will set up an automation and just leave it, which is okay until it stops working, and then you think it's working and it's not. You're like, what's going on? I thought these emails were going out for the past month, and maybe something happened or someone on your team was in there, whatever. Checking your email or checking your emails are definitely a good thing to do, because one, stuff breaks, and it's a good way to find out if it needs fixed. You have some things automated and some basic email automation setup. So that's our mid tier, and our low tier would be you manually follow up with things, but do not automate processes. Nurturing clients is a huge way to help improve conversion rates. A lot of people say that the sales aren't made on the sales page, they're made in the email or the email follow-up. So we're going to dive into Onvert, and I'm going to show you some of the automations that we have. So in here, we have a bunch of different automations. One is our email marketing automations. We have stuff for different products. It's like when a product gets sold, when we have different maintenance tasks to handle things, and then we have stuff like webinars and sales. So we're going to look at some of the email automations, because that goes into the actual setup of the, we're going to go to the email automations here and show you exactly like some of the stuff that we set up. The main automation that really works right now is our weekly automations. So what we do is anytime someone signs up for something, we have a email automation that goes out to people and then basically just follows up with them based on that lead magnet they signed up for. Afterwards, we wait for a week, and then we will send them down the main automation email. And what this is going to do is it's going to send an email out once a week for the year. And what this is going to do is automatically nurture people. Now, you may think right now that's a lot of work, and it is. If you've ever sent out an email to a value-based email to people, what you can do is start taking those emails and compiling them in and just start adding them on. And then over time, you'll have things or emails that you can send in for like new leads. So for instance, this one here, we have this email where it talks about like the logos and helps get people there. And the whole idea is to provide value. And then if they have questions, to email today for more questions. This one here just helps identify a way to stay up to date, get people to get more and more. And the cool thing about this kind of stuff too is if you click on these, we can look here and see who signed up for stuff and like where stuff is, things like that. And it basically allow people to dive into or move people forward with it as well. And then you can set up different automations. So if you only want it to run on like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and during specific times, we can do that as well. So a lot of cool things with the different automations you can do with it. So that's the basics with it. Any type of funnel we have, so if we're looking at our lead magnets here and these there, any kind of the lead magnets we have, we set up form. When they fill out this form, they get tagged with a specific tag. Then they get information sent out to it, and then they get the email follow-ups with those ones. We're going to look at another strategy real quick for email flow and nurturing. So this is back in Whimsical, that tool. So this is basically that lead magnet, similar to what we showed earlier. You have a lead magnet with a tripwire flow. So one, they opt in. Two, we're going to send them to the tripwire page, but then also we're going to enter them into a non-purchase sequence. So meaning they didn't purchase the tripwire. And what we're doing is we're going to send them 5 emails, not at once. It's going to be dripped over daily, that follow up with the initial lead magnet and include links to the tripwire. And the reason for that is, one, like I said, a lot of purchases aren't necessarily made directly in the sale or like on the sales page right away. It's normally made by people coming back to it later on. And then after that, we're going to add them to the main email sequence. So we can take this a step further though. And then if they do purchase stuff, they enter a purchase sequence. And the difference between a purchase sequence and a non-purchase one is we're not going to try to get them to buy that same tripwire offer that we had before. We're going to send them the same base value emails that help with it, but we're just not going to try to like market to them further. We're just going to give them more value and just make sure they're getting that stuff instead. Now, if you haven't started out with anything and you don't have like a low ticket offer or anything, you can do a basic lead magnet flow. So with the basic lead magnet flow, you have the opt-in landing page, goes to a book a call offer or just a thank you page. They've received the lead magnet, and then you have 5 emails that follow up with them. And those 5 emails are stuff that's basically going to allow you to make it, it's going to be just more value based on what was in that lead magnet. So it's just taking that information you gave in the first place and then extending on it, showing like how it's helpful. And then afterwards, like I said, we add them to that main email automation. So that's how we handle our nurturing and email automations. We'll go back over to the content creation side of things. Give yourself a score for nurturing and automation. And then our last one is content creation. With content creation, top tier looks like this: is you have a content plan for blog posts, video, photography, and graphics. Your content brings value to your potential clients and customers and is relevant to your business. You post new content on a daily or weekly basis. So this is key. If you're doing this kind of stuff, you're doing awesome content. Video right now works really good. I don't know how many of you guys are on TikTok or anything, but TikTok is a great platform for doing like reels. And if you are doing something for TikTok or Facebook reels or Instagram reels, any of that kind of stuff, highly recommend just repurposing your content to the other platforms as well, such as like YouTube Shorts. If you're doing something on Facebook, take that and move it over to the Facebook Reels as well, and then move it or add it to YouTube Shorts, add it to TikTok, and all those. But if you're doing any kind of post, you can add it to LinkedIn or any other platforms that you're. Just make sure you're repurposing your content. So obviously, if you're just doing it one time, you put it somewhere else, it makes sense to take it and move it to other platforms too. If you're doing a blog post, if you do any blog posts, it's really nice to add a social media post about that to direct people to your blog post, which, like I showed before, having a blog post that works with like different call to actions throughout it is going to help increase your conversions on your website and get people in your sales funnel as well. Mid-tier looks like you post a blog article at least once a month, have graphic resources and professional photography done for your business. If you guys have a business and, for instance, like it's a personal brand website or a brick and mortar store or anything like that, having professional photos done of the business or you really helps the value of the website and how people perceive you. So the reason for it is you can take your phone and take selfies and all that, but the main thing is people can definitely tell that it's a selfie. It just doesn't look as professional, where if you have professional photos done, they just make the website pop. That's just an easier way to help like level up your game there. And then low tier is you have a blog and you post it every once in a while. It's not really on a schedule. It's not once a month or anything like that, but every once in a while you update it. Or do a post on social. So for us, we've gotten better about adding more blog posts. We've gotten better about adding more content, but I know we can do a lot better in it. So like I'm definitely not in the higher part of the top tier, but we are getting to the point where we're starting to do stuff more on a weekly basis as well. So yeah, that's basically it for the Amplifying Your Platform. Actually, I'm going to show you guys one more thing for it. We're going to go over back to my website, and we're going to look at the resources tab. So this is our blog. And the reason why I'm showing you this here is if you guys are ever looking for stuff or ideas on like things to help improve your website, we have a ton of free value articles here that you can go into. And this here, I'm getting a ton of people finding this on Google and coming in and checking out the different blog posts here. And these here are basically giving them like ways to get into our sales funnel from there. But what it does is it's content that we're constantly doing and adding to it. So like if you guys are ever interested in learning more about that stuff, this is a good place for it. And we have a lot of like how-to things or ways to help improve things there. So that's a good resource for you guys though. So back on the scorecard, once you have given yourself scores, average it out. And once you've averaged out for all three of them, what I want you guys to do is basically look at your average scores. Take those three scores, and then what you can do is identify which area or which of the three sections really need more work. And then once you identify that, you can then look and see out of the main sections where your lowest scores are. If, like I said, if you have a low score here in Google Analytics, or if you have analytics installed on your website, or you have something that's not started yet, that's going to be a good way to identify that and figure out what you need to work with it. Then we can go back to that strategy, and in the strategy side of things, put down the stuff that are low scores and stuff you want to work on, add it to your month 1, month 2, or month 3. And then what you can do is come up with a complete strategy, figure out what you need to work on and what you can plan on doing to improve it. I hope this was helpful. What I would love to see have happen with this kind of stuff is for you guys to come back to the scorecard once a quarter and identify where you're at in your business. Because if you're going through and saying, okay, number 2 here, I'm going to work on this stuff to help improve it, you're going to continue to improve these scores. You're going to continue to, one, ultimately make your website or your business, your online platform, everything with it better. Because this is, like I said, this is like a complete website platform. It encompasses everything online for your business. It helps keep track of all that as well. So yeah, that's where it is and what I want you guys to do. If you guys have questions on it, let me know. You guys can download this and save it here, or you can come back to the email, download it there later on. For any of you who are interested, I do have Onvert that I want to show you guys. With Onvert, if you guys saw anything in there that you guys were like, hey, that's really cool, I just want to show you guys this offer here and give you guys an opportunity with it. With Onvert, and I'm going to make it or add a link there as well. In next to the chat, you're going to see one that says offer, and this talks about Onvert there. There's a link there to book a demo. If any of you guys are interested in learning more about it and how it can help like your business, feel free to click that, book a demo, and I can walk you through the kind of stuff for it. This tool, it's an all-in-one platform. That the nice thing about it is provides technical support. For instance, if you want help with building out funnels, or you want help with building out a website, or doing things like that, or adding the CRM in, you can do all that. We are hosting this webinar from this platform as well. We have webinars, we have all of that as well. So like just some of the features that we have, you get a fully managed website, a CRM, sales funnels, email marketing, calendar booking. So if we look at like the book a demo page, we're using Onvert for that as well. There's a sales pipeline. You can do automated webinars or a live webinar like this one. With automated webinars, like for instance, what we're going to do for this one actually is since we did this one live, we're going to turn this one into an automated one. So if people want more information on how to fill out the scorecard or anything like that, it's going to allow them to sign up right away, get the scorecard, and dive directly into the training. So we can do that. You can do membership and courses, lead automation, basically everything that I've showed you today. You can do everything with this. The really cool thing is, if you don't have a website, or you do have a website that's not so great, or basically you just want us to manage it, we have a ton of email templates. We have over 90 email templates, not email, but website templates that we built out that allow you to start with an awesome website. If you are interested in like setting up a new website, basically like our onboarding process, you would go through, sign up, then you could pick like an email or a website template. And then basically what we do is we take that and then brand it to your branding and colors and all that. And then help you, like if you need help with copy, we can use AI generation with the copy. If there's a website template you just aren't sure about or you want help, we also have an AI website generator that will generate the copy and sections for your website and give you an awesome blueprint to get started. So we have this. You're welcome to look at any of these to just check them out, see if there's anything you like. But there's a ton of different ones here. So that's our website here. And the nice thing about it is basically you pick out the template and we do all the work for you. And then if you need anything else done, just let us know and we handle that stuff for you too. The pricing on this kind of stuff here, if you just wanted a website and just 5 pages, it doesn't include the CRM or stuff like that. It's $157 a month, but you get 5 pages of the website. Lead forms, technical support. You get 30 minutes of support with this a month. Do like lead or pop-ups for like lead capture or other lead captures on your website. If you wanted everything, for instance, CRM, calendar appointments, email, the funnels, invoicing, the video widget that I showed on our main site, the automated live webinars and that kind of stuff, that's our $497 a month plan. And the cool thing about this one is this provides 5 hours of technical support a month, plus the platform, plus all the different tools that goes along with it. And if, let's say, you need a new funnel created for your website or offer, you just send us a copy for it or give us the idea and we can generate a copy for you using the AI and then kick things off that way. This is basically a done for you system that allows you to go through it. And one thing that we are offering right now is anyone who signs up for the $497 plan, we have a complete strategy that we walk through with our, basically, like it's our experience blueprint call. I just did one of these yesterday and the call lasted for 3.5 hours. So basically what I do is I plan out for 2 hours, but we go until we have the strategy laid out for you guys. And it's a one-on-one call with me and your team, or just you and me and the business owner, whatever. And we walk through your offers, products, your customer journey, and all that. So if you're interested in that, we are offering this there. The nice thing about this too is if you just want to try it out, we do have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you sign up, find out it's not right for you, we will refund you within 30 days if you let us know. And then also too, it's a month-to-month contract. So like we're not going to sign you up for a full year and say you have to pay for a year. You can do this for a month, decide it's not right for you. And if you have any questions with it, the best way to get a hold of me, if you just want to like hop on a call, the book a demo page here, and this is one of the onward calendars, but you can basically click here, pick a time that works best for you, and we can hop on a call and I can go over some stuff with you guys as well. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and yeah, that's basically it. Hope you guys all had a good time. I had a really good time going over it, and I hope that you guys all reach out if you have questions. Hopefully everything was like actually made sense. If you guys have questions on the scorecard, let me know. Like I'm always working on improving that thing. So if it gets to a certain point where you're like, hey, I was confused on this part of it, let me know. I'm curious to know on how I can help you and how I can help. I hope you guys all have a good day, and I will talk to you later. Thanks.